So we talk about this important subject, mental health. We do this because we want to break the stigma. If anything that happened in 2000 with COVID and this pandemic, it really did shine a light on the importance and the significance of emotional wellness. It became a platform for all of us to begin to at least acknowledge our discomfort, our possible depression or anxiety or hypervigilance, or all those emotional feelings that we felt as it relates to the pandemic. Now, throw all that in and now add a young person. Not just a young person, but a young person without a home. So I want to share some statistics related to mental illness and homelessness. 1 in 4, 26%, or 1 in 4 of people experiencing homelessness in American shelter systems are dealing with a serious mental illness. And how we acknowledge what a serious mental illness is, it's something that is debilitating. It's affecting your ability to simply live, laugh, love, and learn. You are not able to function. Mental illness is real and recovery is possible with the appropriate support. And that's why this collaboration is so important, because people do need your support. Also, number 2, a major cause. The U.S. Conference of Mayors has identified mental illness as being the 3rd leading cause of homelessness in American cities. 3, the lack of treatment. At any given time, there are more people with chronic mental illness who are experiencing homelessness than are receiving care in hospitals. Victims of violence. People living with mental illness are more likely to be victims of than the perpetrators, of violence, and are often victimized multiple times. Think about that, and then think about the surroundings. 5, housing is health care. Let me say that again. Housing is health care. People experiencing homelessness with severe mental illness do better when treatment and case management are matched with housing. It matters. So we're talking about barriers to service. Now, we were hear all these statistics related to homelessness and the connection between mental illness, but what are some of the barriers to service? 263 of the 413 youth identified with mental health issues experience barriers to receiving necessary supports. That's why the sleep out is so important, and your contribution and your participation is so important, because 76% experience barriers to receiving necessary support. 62% do not have a formal diagnosis because they don't have access. 55% do not have stable housing. 49% have substance use. 67% are on the wait list, and these wait lists are too long for people to actually get the services that they need. And these services are helpful when they are timely. So we're talking about, and the focus is youth right now, but you know what happens with youth who don't receive the services? They grow up and become adults. And so this one night and this one purpose, we can collaborate and combine our purposes to increase education and decrease the stigma and just help people receive the support that they need. I'm just going to share some of these statistics because they're on the screen, and I want to get to the main event, our special guest, Heather. I wanted to share this one. Over 60%, 1 in 3 of youth with major depression do not receive any mental health treatment. 1 in 3 are going without treatment. That is so, so, so important to know. And we're in New Jersey and in New York. And believe it or not, we have some of the strongest mental health resources available within the United States. Here's another one. Even among youth with severe depression who receive some treatment, only 27% receive consistent care. In states with the least access, only 12%. So only 27%, but we can do something about that. We can carve a little piece out of that, out of these numbers, with an event like we are talking about tonight. The sleep out, one purpose, one night. Let's hear from the youth themselves. So, sleep out makes a meaningful impact. Sleep out isn't about pretending to be homeless. We sleep out so homeless kids don't have to. When you sleep out, you're not just raising funds and awareness, you're showing these young people you're committed to their future. I'm going to leave this screen up here for just a second, because use your phones right now, pull them out and scan this code and register. Get all the information. This is a link to all the things that you need to know so that you can participate in any way that you can relate it. And even if you can't, share it with someone else. We will be showing this video on the Mental Health Association in New Jersey's Facebook page. So if for whatever reason you missed it, it's going to be played live. I'm going to give it to Heather. You all can do anything you want with it so that you can share it with as many people as you possibly can. So here we are, my special guest. Oh my God, she's so amazing. And I'm so happy to have the opportunity to be a part of this with her in the Junior League and Covenant House. Heather is the president of the Junior League of Montclair, Newark. She has been active in diverse leadership positions on the board. She has led 2 major fundraising projects and supported various league community service projects, including the Fostering Hope Committee and the JLMN Sleep Out Montclair 2020 and 2021. She also created the Apartment in a Suitcase project for youth who age out of foster care. She is passionate about the unique needs, issues, and struggles that exist for young people living in and aging out of the foster care system in Essex County. She continues to support these young people through advocacy in the community by funding various opportunities for job training and placement. She currently serves on the program board for Nancy's Place, located in Montclair, New Jersey, and has served on the management board for the Van Vleck House and Gardens, also in Montclair, New Jersey. In addition to all of this service, she is employed at Ernst & Young, and she's very smart too. She's a graduate of Miami University in Oxford, Ohio, with a dual major in marketing and business legal studies. Heather also earned her Juris Doctorate from Capital University, University Law School, also in Columbus, Ohio. Heather also earned her LLM in taxation from Boston University. She's a resident of Bloomfield and is a proud, and believe me, she has so much to be proud of, this beautiful daughter of hers, is a proud mom of a bright, thoughtful, and creative 10-year-old and a fur child. She may be 11. And a fur child.
11. She's 11 now.
She's 11. Yes, I wanted to think you have to give kids their age, right? Yep. Creative 11-year-old with a fur child, Lady Saxby Rose, a 70-pound golden doodle who runs the family. I think Heather's running the family, but I'll let her explain it. So without further ado, I'm going to stop sharing my screen. And I want to share the screen with Heather. And those of you who are on, thank you so much for joining us. So thank you, Heather. Good to see you again.
Thank you. Happy Friday, everybody. Thank you for joining us. And I humbly thank Lynette for making time for me tonight and for the youth of Covenant House. I want to first thank Lynette's audience and everybody out there who worked with us last year. Lynette was really kind. We were able to end up raising over $130,000. So I give a lot of thanks and praise to Lynette because, it's small, little things, little grassroots efforts that we make to do outreach in the community. And Lynette was willing to give her time and talent so that we could share the message and the advocacy around the important work that Covenant House does and really make an important tie-in to the mental health issues that many, many young people face. And Covenant House welcomes them with open arms, unconditional love, and is able to provide them many of the services that they very much need, and helps them get right on the road toward their very bright, very wonderful future. So it's a privilege and an honor to work with them, and I'm so grateful to Lynette and all of her audience who supported us last year. So I just want to thank you all and say I'm just so excited to be here today. So happy Friday, everybody. This is a great way to end the week. I hope you're all having a good evening. So I wanted to talk a little bit about our sleep out. This is my 3rd year sleeping out. The first year we did it, it was a rainy, drizzly night. And I thought, well, I'll put on my ski gear and my ski boots. How cold could it be? And I'll tough it out. I made the commitment and, we'll have a story to tell. But I have to say it was very humbling. No matter how warm you dress, it's not warm enough. And you begin to realize, wow, I'm doing this for a very short amount of time. Maybe I, don't sleep very well. Maybe I'm uncomfortable. But at least I have a safe place to stay. We stayed at the Montclair Women's Club and, we had a safe place to stay. I didn't have to worry somebody was going to steal my shoes or that things would be taken from me. I wasn't suffering from a mental health issue that would make it even harder for me, to feel stable or safe. And I knew that if I needed to use a restroom, I could walk in and actually use a restroom. Many homeless young people don't have that privilege. So, it really dawned on me and it really, really humbled me because I knew where I was sleeping out that night. Many homeless young people do not. Many homeless young people spend a good portion of their day trying to figure out where they can stay that will be safe for them and where they won't freeze. We've had very, very cold, temperatures lately. And I look out and I think, oh my God, how are these homeless young people doing, whether they're in New York City or in New Jersey? So after having done it one time, it really humbled me. Then last year we slept out and we didn't sleep out as a group. We were able to sleep out, around our house, which, some people might think, well, was that really sleeping out? But actually, that was a different type of sleeping out. We slept out in garages, on porches. Some people slept out in their cars, and that's not uncommon. There's a lot of people who suffer from different forms of homelessness, who've been evicted from their homes or who struggle, and they are sleeping out in their cars. They are sleeping in garages and other things. And to have those experiences was also very humbling. And it just reminded me of how fortunate we all are and what a privilege it really, really is to have the opportunities we do and to be able to be a voice and an advocate. So again, thank you for having me. And I cannot thank all of you enough for working with us. This year, we're going to be sleeping out on March 4th. So it'll be a little bit warmer than it was last year because we did it at the end of February. But I cannot tell you what a great experience it is to sleep out. Covenant House brings some of the youth to the event. So we get to hear their stories. We get to learn, what maybe brought them to the different Covenant House shelters and all the wonderful things that Covenant House does. So it's really very enlightening. And I promise you, once you do it one time, you'll be bitten by the bug, and you will not want to miss an opportunity where you can be a part to help out.
Thank you, Heather. It's interesting when you were talking about that. It's like all those experiences, and then just even the thought of this is going to end tomorrow, or this is going to end in a few hours. So there's something to look forward to. How about those children or those youth who don't have that time to look forward to, or there's no time limit that they can say, okay, I'm done. And if anything that we get from this experience is empathy, and we definitely need more of that to connect, to the feelings. And that's why mental health is such a connection to this, because we really teach about connecting to the feelings rather than a correction of a behavior.
Yes.
So, and it's not you should have done this or this. It's, I want to relate to you. How can I help you? Help me help you. How can I support you? And so providing those systems to do that. I know that you've prepared a presentation for our audience. So
yes, if you guys all humor me 1 second, I'm going to share my screen. Let's see here. Let's see. I'm going to put this up. Okay. Everybody, is some slides that we put together in conjunction with Covenant House to talk a little bit about what does Covenant House do, and some, just so you get a sense of how are your dollars being spent, what is the, good that they do in the community. So first of all, as Lynette pointed out, Covenant House New Jersey helps, young people who are homeless and also who have suffered from human trafficking, which is a really big issue in this area. Covenant House was deputized last year by the Attorney General of the state of New Jersey to be the premier organization to support young people, and actually young adults as well, up to the age of 24, who've been victims of human trafficking, and to provide them support. Covenant House works with state, federal, and local law enforcement. If there's an individual or group of individuals that have been involved in human trafficking in New Jersey, they liaise with them, and they're actually starting to work internationally. And I'll pivot on that in a little bit, because we have a human trafficking panel coming up with them. But they do provide support pretty much for ages 18 to 21. That does range a little bit, but they do provide support for that age group, and it's such an important and pivotal age for them to do that in. And they have provided an array of services. It's not just providing housing, but it is providing mental health services. It's providing basic health services, education, job training, life skills. One of the things I think that's really neat about Covenant House is they teach the children, or the young people, about, budgeting, keeping a bank account. All the young people there have, savings accounts. They really want to make sure that the young people are successful when they, leave Covenant House and go out on their own, because there aren't the social safety nets out there. They don't have family. They don't have other people that they can rely upon. And so they teach them all of those skills and make sure before they leave, they have, the savings and those skills ready and set so that they are going to be successful, hand up into society. And I think that that's such a wonderful thing that they do. Let's talk about what has Covenant House done, just in the last quarter in New Jersey. 96 young people were served at their various locations. So they have 2 drop-in shelters, one in Asbury Park, one in Newark. Nancy's Place, which is in Montclair, which is near and dear to my heart, which serves those young people who have mental health issues, and they do a beautiful job of that. They also have Raphael's Lifehouse, which is for mothers and babies, and mothers and babies can stay there for up to 18 months. So before a baby is born, a mother can get maternal health, and then after the baby's born, they get services as well, which I think is so wonderful. And they have several rites of passage houses where you perhaps are ready to move forward in your journey with Covenant House, but you need housing, because housing is so expensive and so hard to come by. So you can have reduced cost housing. And there's also one of those rites of passage houses in it's like an apartment building in Montclair. So we're really privileged that Montclair has been so generous, with their space and allowing that. 54 youth are enrolled in in on-site job and reading readiness programs. 59 youth were employed. That's huge. That's really wonderful, thinking that we've taken young people who were in crisis, like serious crisis. We've been able to get them the help, mental health, housing, whatever else they needed, and we were able to turn them around and get them into an employable situation. That's just such a fantastic statistic. 15 obtained jobs during the quarter. 58 were enrolled in skill training. And then what I find just so special is 52 saw, a medical clinical provider, and then 57 got mental health services. As Lynette pointed out, those mental health services are so key to being able to, work through issues, get yourself what you need, medications, counseling, and understand that you are a wonderful person. You deserve to be able to laugh, love, smile and live and have all of those wonderful things. And you can survive and strive and move forward. And to know that 57 young people were able to get that on-site mental health service is just a wonderful thing. Why do we sleep out? We always pull those who sleep out with us and ask, why did they sleep out? Many people realize that the mission of Covenant House is absolutely critical. I would also point out to you that 87% of Covenant House's funding is private. They don't necessarily get state or federal grants. They do it through private funding, which I think is a really strong testament to, the community and to those who are involved with Covenant House, how strongly they believe in the mission of Covenant House and the work that Covenant House does. We all believe that these are our children, that are in our community. And we all believe that we have a responsibility to make sure that every child and young person has safe housing, food, clothing, mental health care, educational resources, etc. So everybody has a really great start to their future. I don't think anybody would disagree with that. And knowing that Covenant House is willing and able to provide those services in a variety of locations in New Jersey is one of the reasons why it's just so easy to want to be supportive of what they're doing. It's really important to remember that, there's 11,000 young people that will be homeless, in short order. And there's about 4.2 million homeless young people every year that are on the streets. That to me is a heartbreaking statistic that I would love for all of us to work to try to, mitigate and mediate and get down to a much, much lower number. Another thing to think about is, okay, so you've talked about all of these things, wanting to work with the young people in your area, wanting to work on mental health issues and housing. How can I? Well, we are having a sleep out on March 4th. We'd love for anybody to sign up to be a sleeper. If you'd like to, Lynette has the QR code you can use, or you can sign up at our link below. We'd love to have you. Also, invite your friends, your family, local businesses. If you're not interested in sleeping out and that's not your thing, that's fine too. You can make a donation. You can sponsor a sleeper. You can share this information out with the businesses that you work for and see if they're interested in supporting young people. Another thing I think that's really great is to invite your children's school to participate. My nephew, who is 12 this year, slept out last year when is 13, slept out last year when he was 12. He was so inspired by this that he asked the head of his school if he could bring the sleep out to his school. He's in Maryland, and they agreed. So Covenant House worked with his school, and they are signing up a bunch of young people from his school so that they can all sleep out and be a part of this. There is nothing in my mind that's more special than having young people, especially my daughter's age, which is 11, and my nephew's age, which is 13, who are understanding and empathetic. And they realize that these are young people that are not much older than them, and that they can be participatory in supporting this and really gain a great empathy. My daughter's sleeping out. There are many young people in the junior league who have children who slept out. So there's no, we usually like to ask for 11 and above, to sleep out, but high school students, college students, middle school age and above. We have a dance studio that sends a troupe to sleep out. It's really a powerful experience for them. And we love to teach empathy and compassion at a young age. So, anybody who's interested in doing that. I also want to really stress, there is no small gift here. There is nothing that is unappreciated. So, when you think about, well, how can I help? $10 buys a hygiene kit. $20 buys a box of masks. $30 buys clean new bedding. and on down the line. I wanted to make this slide because we are so grateful for every donation that we get. We are so grateful for everything that people are willing to do. We love the big donations, obviously, but I want everybody to understand that every little, I don't want to say little, every donation, every gift somebody gives of time, talent, and obviously from their substance to make this community and make this organization be able to serve young people is such a generous gift, and it's so greatly appreciated. So please don't think I can't make a difference. I don't have $1,000 to write a check, or I can't make a difference. I don't have a corporation. You can make a difference. $10 makes a difference. And trust me, these young people are so grateful for everything. So I just, I really want to stress that everything is greatly appreciated. Some upcoming things we have are the human trafficking panel. I'd love to welcome everybody to come to that. It's going to be on Tuesday, the 22nd of February from 7:30 to 8 p.m. Please email me, president@jlmn.org. I will send out a link to this. It's going to be a fantastic panel. We're doing it in collaboration with Covenant House and some of their human trafficking experts. And they're going to talk to us about their anti-trafficking efforts and some of the wonderful things that they're doing in the community. And I think it's going to be a great way to further understand the wonderful work that Covenant House does. And it's sort of one area that Covenant House really has just done a remarkable job in improving the lives of young people. Another thing we have coming up is a Chipotle fundraiser for the Sleep Out. That's going to be on the 16th from 4 to 8 p.m. at Chipotle in West Orange. And so if you go there and you get something to eat, we would greatly appreciate it. And they will donate 33% of the proceeds to the Covenant House of New Jersey. And so that would be fabulous if you are so inclined. Lastly, we have a Panera fundraiser at the Montclair Panera on Bloomfield Ave. It's going to be on the 24th from 4 to 8 p.m. 20% of sales go to Covenant House, New Jersey. And you just have to use the code PR Fund. And we're obviously appreciative to Panera and Chipotle for their generosity and their thoughtfulness. So that's sort of why we sleep out, how we sleep out, what we're doing. I'm happy to field any questions anybody has, but thank you all so much. And Lynette, I'm very, very grateful. Thank you.
Oh, it's my absolute pleasure. So let's see if you can stop sharing your screen so we can see. We actually can't see the people who are actually on, but those who are with us live on Zoom, if you have any questions or comments, I'm going to check the chat, make sure I don't miss anything. If you'd like to speak, you can raise your electronic hand and we can actually call on you so we can hear you speak. But I just want to give you a heads up, Heather, you were speaking, but I put some links and resources to mental health support resources in the chat. All these resources are free, they're private, they're confidential. You can be as young as 14 to partake. We have a free call line that's available 8 a.m. to 8 p.m., 7 days a week. And we also have a texting line because, young people text more than they talk.
That's
so
fantastic.
You can text NJ Hope to 51684 and you will begin getting those. You can be as young as 14 to take advantage of those services. Does anyone have any questions? Any comments? You know what? Share this. I just actually shared this link with Heather on her Facebook page. And I want to give a special shout out to Gregory Burrus Productions, who linked the two of us together, I guess a couple of years ago.
Yes, he did. He did.
And without those connections to our community and seeing how we can support each other in these wonderful causes, it means so much. So thank you to Gregory Burrus Productions. Thank you to all of you who are on this call right now. I'm just going to do a quick check, Heather, just to make sure I'm not missing anyone. That's why I'm looking down all over the place because I'm looking at our Facebook chat. And there are people saying, oh, great cause. We have 10 people watching right now. And there'll be more watching because it's going to be live streamed and we will continue to replay it. Great job. So that's the feedback that we are receiving. Oh, I wanted to encourage those of you who are on the chat, if you don't know how to do that, you can save the chat to your computer. So you'll see three dots on the right side of the chat. and go ahead and click that, and you can save it, you can download these, or do a screenshot, or you can copy and paste all these resources. So without, if just going around once, going twice. Heather, do you have any final words?
Thank you, everyone. Please think of our young people, and think of any way that you might be able to support the Sleep Out, support a sleeper, sponsor, possibly do a sponsorship or anything in between. We are so grateful, so appreciative, as are the young people. Thank you, Lynette. Very, very grateful. Everybody have a great, happy, safe weekend.
Thank you. Goodbye, everybody. Don't forget to sleep out. Bye.
Thank you, Heather, and thank you, Lynette. This is Gregory Burrus, and I want to thank you very much for listening to this important conversation on aging out of foster care, homelessness, and the issues of mental health. Sleep Out New Jersey, the Montclair edition, takes place on March 4th, 2022, 8 p.m., right into the next morning at 8 a.m. We hope you can contribute, participate in any way you can. Thank you for listening. Gregory Burrus.